Oh, hello YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, I'm bringing you a massive unhaul. Yes, you heard that correctly. I've been doing this massive project lately where I'm cleaning out my shelves for good because it's a mess everywhere. Just double booking all of my shelves. I can't deal with this anymore. So I have been doing this thing called try a chapter. So I've just pulled books off my shelves and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep this or not. I'm gonna read a chapter. And you know what? If something happens in that first chapter that catches my attention, I'll keep it. If I'm reading it, I'm just like, it's not doing it for me. At least I gave the book a shot, so when I unhaul it, I feel less bad. And for this video in particular, I decided to go in on my YA because I have so many YA books on my shelves that have been sitting there for a long time. And I'm like, oh, I should read you. And then I don't do it. So finally, I went in on it. I've tried over 50 books probably. It's been bananas, how many books I've been trying out. And yeah, if something catches my eye about it, or yeah, you know what? I read a lot of books. I kind of know right away if something's gonna do it for me or if something's not gonna do it for me. But I give them a whole chapter to convince me. Let's just power through this because I got so many books that are leaving my shelves. Just power round, let's go. The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I read this, I thought it was fine. I wasn't super into it, and I'm like, why is it staying on my shelf? I thought it was fine and I read it. I liked it. Did I love it? No. It can move out to make space for something new. Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Again, I read this, I liked it. It has some things that are good in it, the apocalypse they're writing in this, genuinely scary. So good for horror, but I read it and I thought it was okay. Am I super into it? No. Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon. This is hey, let's kill Nazis. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck Nazis, right? But it's this girl, she was experimented on by Nazis, and then now she can change her appearance, and there's a motorcycle race. And I was it wasn't doing it for me. I appreciate the hustle, but I don't need to read more books about Nazis. But they're terrible, obviously. You're preaching to the choir here. Also, the entire Angel Fall series by Susan E. I managed to collect these through various library book sales over the years, and I collected the whole series. Haven't read them, and they've been out for a while. And I tried. It's very basic. It feels like 2012 era YA with everybody had a dystopian world, and this time angels came and killed everybody, and I'm okay, whatever. And I'm it wasn't doing it for me. Spell Hacker by M.K. England. There's people who steal magic because magic is regulated, and I'm I don't buy your world. Lifelike by J. Kristoff. I know, this one, it's signed. That's why I was keeping it for so long, but honestly, I read it. I didn't really like it at all. I thought it was kind of very mediocre. And I was okay, am I just keeping it because it's signed? That's not the reason to keep it if I didn't like it. This is probably the one book I'm still super on the fence about, which is Berserker by Emmy Laybourne. And the main reason I was getting rid of it is just because there's no audio component. Who doesn't make an audiobook these days? It's so weird when books don't have an audio component. And for me, I am a very busy individual, okay? If you have leisure time where you can sit down and do nothing but traditionally read a book, good for you. I don't have that. I have very little time where I could just sit down and do nothing else besides traditionally read. So I need audiobooks. I traditionally read when I can, but when I can't, if I'm driving or I'm doing my makeup or something, I listen. And I need that in my life. And this one, it doesn't have an audio component. Why are you doing me like this? It's a Western that I think I'd really like. Damn it. Lovely War by Julie Berry. It's kind of the Greek gods came to World War II and they're fucking around. I don't know. I was just keeping it because it's signed, but I'm I have no interest in reading this. I just don't. No interest, so it's gonna go. The Raven's Tale by Kat Winter. I don't know why I bought this. I think this author was at a book festival and I got it signed, and so that's why I bought it, but why? It's ooh, Edgar Allan Poe doing stuff as a teen, and I'm no one gives a shit about Edgar Allan Poe as a teen, okay? This is leaving. Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton. I wanted to read this. I went to the book signing for this, so it's signed, and that's the main reason I was keeping it. But it's like, there's like witches and stuff, and like frankly, like I've seen other books do it better. Like I read the whole first chapter. Did not catch me. It wasn't anything like remarkable in it, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna move forward. I like the author as a human being, but like I don't have time. The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls by Claire Legrand. I love Claire Legrand. Like, some of her books are fan-effing-tastic, and this is like an arc of her first book, and I found it at a library book sale, and then I've met Claire and it's signed, and so that's why I was keeping it. But frankly, there's no audio component for it. I don't have much interest in reading it. It's a middle grade. Like, look how big the words are. It's totally a middle grade. So I'm like, you know what, it's signed. I can let us go back into the world and someone will enjoy it. Dark of the West by Joanna Hathaway. This one I kind of bought like on a whim. Like, I saw a YouTube video where someone liked it and I was like, all right, I'll buy this. And then like I have seen this same story played out so often. Like, oh, there's two sides of a war, like let's stop them from fighting, and then these two people are gonna make out. Like, you know, I'm sure it has value and probably it's good, but I don't think I'm the target audience for this anymore. Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I read this back in the day. It's signed. I've met the author. But did I love this? Kind of no. It's like a cool Viking story, but like honestly, like it wasn't that good. Like 3.5 stars. Like, it's fine. And you know what? Maybe someone else will go find this and really love it. So it's gonna leave. Also, How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather, and I read this so long ago, like years and years and years ago, and I enjoyed it when I read it, but do I have any interest in this book or story now? No, I don't. Like, when I read it, I was much younger, so I enjoyed it then, but now I'm like a grown-ass adult, and I'm just like, do I need this on my shelf? No, I do not. But it's not bad. I kind of liked it. It's like Salem Witch Trials, but modern day, so it's fun. Damsel by Elena K. Arnold. I kept getting talked into reading this book, even though I know I didn't want to. And I put it on my shelf, and I still never read it because I knew I didn't want to. But people kept talking me into it. Then I met the author, so it's signed, and like, here we are. But like, it's very, there's a lot of sexual assault in here, and I'm like, do I want to bother with this? And the answer is no, I do not. Like, there's dragons, but like, Survive the Night by Danielle Vega. I got it. It's supposed to be kind of like a slasher book, and I'm like kind of into slasher movies. But you know what? I didn't really even like The Merciless by Danielle Vega. I read that one and thought it was okay, you know? So I'm like, why am I trying again? Why do I have this on my shelf? It's going. This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada. Gorgeous cover. Boring. It's like there was a plague, and there's people hiding from like disease, and I was like, well, I mean, I understand plagues very well at the moment, but like, do I want to read a whole book about this? And the answer is no, I do not. Teeth in the Mist by Dawn Kurtagich, and I did read this, and I didn't think it was bad. Actually, it has like so many like multimedia components to it. The audiobook is fantastic. It has like all different kinds of like voices and sound effects. It's really well produced, and like there's so many like pictures and like art in here, so like production value wise, this is great. Is it like a fantastic story? No, it's not, but it's like good and spooky and demony, so there's that. The Bookworm Crush by Lisa Brown Roberts. I straight up thought this was adult romance. It's not. It's 100% teen romance. Because all of a sudden I'm like, why is this kid in high school? Is this a romantic lead in high school? Like, are they going to jump forward in time? And then I realize, oh no, this is a teen book. Oh no, they're not even going to fuck in this? Like, like, I'm just straight up being a perv. But, it's like a book nerdy kind of girl. But like, literally, you guys, like, the hero, the like romantic lead in this book, his name is Toff. T-O-F-F. Toff. Who fucking names their kid Toff? Like, no. I'm also getting rid of Slayer by Kirsten White. Here's the thing. I love Kirsten White. I've read everything by Kiersten White and have liked almost all of it, but Slayer was not very good. And I love Buffy. Like, I am a major Buffy head. And so I was like, okay, Buffy stuff. And I'm like, not impressed with it. And it's been sitting on my shelf. I think it's signed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's signed too. But like, it wasn't that good. So it's gonna go. Speaking of Buffy, I also have this random thing, Tales of the Slayer, Volume 2. Do I have Volume 1, you ask? No, I don't. I just got this randomly at a library book sale. And it's a bunch of like little like short stories set in the Buffyverse, but I'm like, am I gonna read it? No, I'm just keeping it like for nostalgia purposes, so it could go. Descendant of the Crane by Joan E. And I don't know, I was really trying to like this. Like, the cover, it's stunning. Like, I can't even look at it because it's so pretty. But like, I gave this 2 chapters. Like, I was really trying to get into this, and like, I just wasn't getting into it. So nothing against the book. I'm sure the book is great. It's just, it wasn't like catching my interest off the little bit I read of it. The Bells by Danielle Clayton. I read this. I read the whole thing, and it was very popular. This is signed, so like, I kept it because of those reasons. And honestly, like, I didn't really love it. Like, I appreciate what it's doing, but did I actually love the book? Kinda no. Like, I wasn't into it. Like, I have no interest in continuing on with the series. I was just keeping it because it was like popular and it was signed, but I'm like, it can leave. Island of Blood and Stone by Makia Lucifer. I think this has dragons in it. I don't know. I think I got this like from a friend for free and I just grabbed it for the sake of it. But there's no audio component. That was a deciding factor for some books. Like, oh, there's no audio component, then I'm not gonna fuck with it. There you go. Publishers, take notice. Put out audiobooks. The Revolution of Birdie Randolph by Brandi Colbert. I really like Brandi Colbert. I've read a lot of her books and enjoyed them. This one has been sitting on my shelf for like 2 years now. I still haven't read it. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I don't know. I'm sure it's really good, but you know, I'm also not the target audience for this book. If I put it back out in the world, someone who needs this book might find it, so I'm like, it's gonna happen that way. The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I love Nicola Yoon. I think she's great. This is signed, and I keep meaning to read it. I know they made a movie out of it. I still just have no interest in reading it. It's on my shelf because it's pretty and it's signed, and I like Nicola as a human, but I'm just not gonna read it. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. Yes, this book has been on my shelf for so long. Like, this is an old book. Old. And it's been on my shelf forever, and like, I still haven't read it. And here's the thing, like, a lot of people I know have read this and liked it. So I looked it up, and you know what? No audio component. What? This isn't even a new book, and there's no audio component. Oh my gosh. By the way, like, my stack of things I'm getting rid of is getting very large. I'm gonna move these real quick. Okay, so I put those books away. Like I said, like, I went in on my shelves. It's a lot. Also leaving is Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. Like, you know what? I appreciate the humor in this. They made a whole joke about like sweatpants boners, and I was like, yes, that's hilarious. I love it. However, do I think I'm actually going to sit down and read this whole thing? And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I've come to terms with this. Does it have value? Do I think it's kind of funny? Yeah, but like, am I going to do it? I'm not. We Set the Dark on Fire by Taylor K. Mejia. This one, like, I really gave a shot to. Like, I gave it 2 chapters to really, like, sell me on it. And I know, like, it was, like, well received, and it has some things that are good, but overall, like, I'm like, it's not very original. It's like, yeah, so they have this world as a dystopian, and they have to, like, fight against the powers that be, and, like, there's gods and stuff, I think. And I'm like, it wasn't selling me on it. Like, I'm sure it's fine, it just didn't sell me on it. Reverie by Ryan Lasalla. I wanted to like this. I don't know where it's going. The first chapter makes no sense. And that's kind of the point. Like, I know that, like, the whole story's like dreams are becoming real. So it's going to be very dreamy and like magic-y, but I was just like, do I just want to read a book about people hallucinating? And I'm like, kind of no. The Gracier by Kim Liggett. I get what this book is doing, and it's kind of a treatise on feminism and how patriarchal societies tend to pit women against each other instead of like letting them join up, because if a bunch of women join up, they're gonna be very powerful, and like, how do we keep them powerless? Make them fight against each other. It's like a thing, you know? And like, I get it. The book is a bit heavy-handed with it. And I'm like, do I just want to read a whole book about a society being gross to women? And I'm like, I kind of don't. We already live in that society. This one I'm like still a little on the fence about. So this is Song of Blood and Stone by Elle Penelope. I have heard great things about this. That's why I bought the book. And again, since I had heard great things, I gave it 2 chapters. It still didn't sell me. It's like a lot of things I've seen before. You know, there's 2 different factions fighting against each other. People have magic. Like, they have to, like, solve the problem. And it's like, I've seen the same plot, like, a lot. And I'm like, I don't know what's really setting this apart from those ones yet. So, I don't know. It didn't sell me in 2 chapters. I gave it 2. All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. This has been on my shelf for quite some time. It's signed. That's the main reason I was keeping it for so long. And like, I don't know, like I finally just gave it a shot. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just this very white woman writing about Latinx characters, and it just doesn't hit right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, there's something just, it's rubbing me the wrong way here. So I'm just like, I think I'm just gonna part with it and just not go further. The Forest Queen by Betsy Cornwell. It's kind of like a Robin Hood kind of retelling thing. Again, no audio component. It's gotta leave. Black City by Elizabeth Richards. Again, no audiobook. I had to leave. I don't have an audiobook. I'm probably never gonna read this. And it's like, I don't know, there's like Darklings. I don't know, there was a Darkling in it. I was like, you're not gonna beat the Darkling. I don't know. There's like ash and like battles and like bad guys, and I'm like, yeah, that's like a lot of books. Give the Dark My Love by Beth Revis. I wanted to like it. It's kind of, you know, there's like apothecary murdery kind of poisons and stuff. And I'm like, it's just so basic white fantasy that like I couldn't mess with it anymore. I was like, it's just not living up to the hype for me. Nemesis by Anna Banks. No audiobook. It really disappoints me when people don't put out the audiobook for the book. Like, these aren't indie published books. Like, this was put out by Fuel and Friends. Like, that's like a publisher that puts out audiobooks. So it's like, I don't know why you did it. Not gonna read it. Speaking of which, I also have The Women in the Walls and The Ravenous by Amy Lukovics. These were put out by Harlequin Teen. Like, this is a bigger publisher. I think these are defunct now, but they weren't when they were putting these out. Both of them, no audiobook components, but they're probably cool horror stories. Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. This is like a Star Wars tie-in kind of book, and I love Star Wars. But like, do I think I'm gonna like this? No, I just don't. And here's the thing. Like, is it just me, or are like the words enormous? Like they're enormous, right? It looks like a middle grade book, because that's how like the typeface they use for middle grade, because it's so like, the print is huge, like the spacing between the lines is huge. I'm like, is this middle grade? And I don't think it's supposed to be middle grade, and it just is bothering me. It's so dumb that I'm bothered by the font, but I'm like, I thought, it's been on my shelf for this long and I still haven't read it. Like, it's not happening. All of my Cinda Williams-Chima books, they're gonna go. I only read one, which is The Warrior Heir. Like, by read, I mean I tried the chapter. And, like, I thought, like, it was a very different book than it ended up being. Like, it's kind of starts as, like, in a Western in Ohio, and then it takes place in, like the 2000s era, like 2007 Ohio. Like, I thought this was a magical world, and it's not. It's the real world. And, like, there's, like, a secret society of, like, mages and wizards and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, that's kind of cool. Like, I like that. But, like, the main character in this is just, like, so milquetoast that I'm just not interested. So I got rid of this and its sequel. And then I have these 2 other books from a different series, the Seven Realms series. So the Demon King and the Exiled Queen. These ones I feel are going to be more of a fantasy world. Maybe. I don't know. I tried one and I'm just like, they're all going. There we go. I made space for 4 books. I finally decided just to call it with The Black Witch by Laurie Forrest. I did try the first chapter. Was I amazed by it? Honestly, no. I think there's like fae magic and this girl in the forest, and then her uncle's like trying to protect her. And I'm like, ugh. I remember there was controversy about this book a while ago, and I ended up getting the ARC, and the ARC is from 2017. Like, it's been out for a while, and I'm just like, I've lost my zest for it. I don't think I'm ever gonna read it. I tried it, wasn't impressed yet. I also have Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller, and again, this one was recommended to me. I have some friends who've read it and enjoyed it. Good for them! I think they probably liked it for reasons, and I tried the first chapter. It's so paint by numbers. It's just like, yes, I've seen this like same plot over and over and over again. What's making this one special besides it's kind of like Frenchish, but like it's not like anything that really like, ooh, the writing's really good, or like, ooh, this character's really cool. It was just like, this is all things I've seen before. I'm gonna get rid of Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The thing is, I've read this. Did I like it? Kinda no. I didn't dislike it. It's fine. You know what I mean? It's an average book. I give it like 3 stars. It's fine. And the only reason I was keeping it is because for some reason it was very popular and it's signed. Like, I met the author, it's signed. But like, did I like it? No. Like, it was like a 3-star book. Why am I keeping this? It's leaving. Now this one hurts my feelings a little bit, actually. Once in Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy. Oh boy. Oh boy, did I want to like this. And I gave it 2 chapters because I was like, I really want to like you. It's supposed to be like an Arthurian legend retelling, but like sci-fi and in space, and like a girl is author this time. So all of that, yes. Like, I love all of that. But like I wasn't like catching my attention yet. It was just kind of boring. I was like, yes, corporations are bad. We've read this story a lot. So it's fine. It's leaving. I'm disappointed, but whatever. I'm also going to read it this series, which is Black Wings Beating and Red Skies Falling, both by Alex London. I have heard good things about it, and I did give this book 2 chapters because I was like, I've heard good things. I'm giving you 2 chances here. But you know, it's like a very bird-based fantasy. I don't know. Birds weren't doing it for me. Like, some of the writing is kind of interesting and cool, but I'm like, you're not gonna make birds like that cool to me in the end. So I've just called it. It's fine. It's whatever. It's going. I'm also gonna get rid of Gunslinger Girl by Lindsay Eli. I was excited for this one because I'm like super into Westerns for some reason. I just always like them. And this one is like very Western, except it's like futuristic Western. There's like sci-fi elements because it's like after the second Civil War, and like there's like, you know, mechanical like innovations and stuff. So like it's like in the future. But anyway, nothing about it was really like outstanding. Again, I gave this 2 chapters because I was really rooting for it here, and like nothing about it was like super intensely great. It was just kind of like, okay, and like, you know, nothing about it was like really catching my eye. 5 Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. I got this randomly for $5. It was like a promo that Barnes & Noble had, like, hey, if you buy anything, you can have this for $5. So I was like, oh, well, for $5. And I bought it. I just, like, I don't care, really, you know, like, maybe I'll try it again, because this author has written a lot of, like, murder mysteries. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just kind of, like, I'm still a little on the fence about it, but, like, I don't foresee me, like, going crazy about this. The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. I got this at a random Y'all West. It's like a Little Mermaid retelling. I gave it a whole chapter, was not into it. There's some cool like undersea like setting stuff, like she's having pearls sewn into her tail, and it hurts because she's getting pearls sewn into her tail, which is like kind of a cool thing, but not enough for me to like really get into this. Romanov by Nadine Brands. It's like, you know, it's Anastasia, but like I think there's actual magic in this a little bit, and I'm just like, oh, like I am just over Anastasia. Like, I'm just over it. I'm over the Romanovs and like that whole Bolshevik revolution. Like, I just have no fascination with it at the moment at all. So I'm like, okay, well, decision made. Ignite the Stars by Mara Milan. This one I'm bummed out about. Why? No audiobook component. I mean, this isn't like the biggest publisher. It's like Albert Whitman and Company. I don't know if they're a subsidiary of someone else, so maybe that's why, but I'm like, come on, this cover is so pretty. Like, there's no audio. And it's signed. God damn it. Wild Savage Stars by Christina Perez. This is kind of I don't know if it's a direct sequel or just like a different like book of the same thing, but it's like kind of a sequel to Sweet Black Waves, which I know is very slow, but some people like it. And I got Wild Savage Stars. It's like a sequel to it. I know it's very like medieval, like kind of like Tristan and Isolde era. But I think like this might be an actual sequel, and I don't have Sweet Black Waves, so it's like, why am I gonna read the sequel when I don't have the first book? Last up, I'm finally at the end here. I have Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosie Thor. I don't know, it's like sci-fi stuff. I don't know, people are making hearts for people, like little tinker hearts, and like stuff. Like so little of it was like fascinating to me, and I gave it a whole chapter and I was just like, I don't really care. So I moved on. Oh my word. Okay, so this is probably a very long video, but like I cleaned out my YA. I cleaned it all out. And I'm still gonna do other clean outs, like for my romance, for my adult books. Like there's more clean outs coming, guys. So yeah, like, oof, like I went in, guys. I read a chapter of all of these books, plus more books. The ones I'm keeping aren't even in this video. So I've been very busy lately. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you just kind of burnt out on YA a little bit? I mean, I still like YA, don't get me wrong, but like it has to be something kind of exceptional for me to get into it, because so many of the stories are like exactly the same. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.